Today, we're honored to welcome back Bill Bruce, CEO of the American Association of Nurse Anesthesiology. From advocacy efforts and strategic initiatives to the evolving healthcare landscape, Bill joins us to share what's happening at the national level and how it directly impacts CRNAs across the country. Whether it's workforce, policy, payer issues, or the future of the profession, Bill brings transparency, insight, and a steady hand to the conversation. If you want to stay informed, empowered, and engaged in where our profession is heading, this is an episode you won't want to miss.
CRNA Financial Planning is a sponsor of Beyond the Mask podcast. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group. Nothing in this podcast should be construed as investment advice. Plus, did you know listening to our podcast can earn you Class B credits? For details on how to submit, visit the CE credit section at beyondthemaskpodcast.com. Welcome to Beyond the Mask, innovation and opportunities for CRNAs and advanced practice nurses, with certified financial planner Jeremy Stanley and CRNA Sharon Pierce. Jeremy Stanley has worked with CRNAs for more than 23 years, and Sharon Pierce is a former president of the AANA and the NCANA. Join us as we leave the operating room and learn the latest in the CRNA and advanced practice nurse industries. Beyond the Mask starts in 10, 9, 8, 7.
Bill, welcome back.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Here we are in Nashville. We've had a great annual Congress. Wonderful time. For those who didn't come, make sure you come next year. You've missed an awesome educational experience and a lot of fun. So we'll just kind of throw that out there for a plug. So we always try to get you in about once a year, and here we are. So Bill, what's new?
Oh, well, one, being in Nashville, it's a great city. So people who know me will know that I've got half of my family comes from Nashville. So I've got my dad and his parents, uncles and cousins. So I've got some family in the area. So Nashville's always a little bit special for me. I'm glad to be here. It's changed so much over the past couple of decades, but it's still a great town, and it's been a great host for our meeting this year, which is good, because this meeting was the biggest meeting that we've ever had. Well over, I believe the last number I saw was 4,133 registrations.
Wow.
Over 4,000 on site is what I believe it is, and that puts us several hundred more than our previous record, which was the 75th anniversary in Cleveland, where we got, I think it was 3,599, so just shy of 3,600. So we beat that by 400, 500 people, which was just phenomenal. And I credit Nashville with that, because it's an easy city to get to. It is. It's a city that everybody seems to like for, various reasons. And yeah, it's economical, and it has all the right stuff. So
how about exhibitors? This exhibit hall seems pretty large this year.
It's grown. We, I believe, twice had to change the footprint of the exhibit floor so that we could accommodate more exhibitors, because we sold out of the original footprint pretty quickly. We had people that we knew would want in, so we had a couple dozen additional booths. I think we changed a little bit about the venue of where we're going to put it, so that we got even a little bit more space. So I think, and I could confirm this after, but I think we're about 30% larger than our normal exhibit.
It looks like it.
Yeah. Well, I will say this: as walking around the exhibit hall, you can tell that the employment picture for CRNAs is wonderful right now, with all the recruiters and agencies and hospitals here exhibiting and trying to get folks in their employment.
We get a lot of employers coming in, which is great, obviously, and we always try to work them into using Motion, our own platform, where we can. It's the folks that use it seem to have a very good experience with it. It's certainly been good for us. Also, what I like to see is we have more and more innovation in the exhibit hall and at the event as we've been investing in that. We've been trying to support the development of new innovation in our community and welcome it here. So I don't think that you'd see things like Olivate showing up at this meeting 5-6 years ago. I think we've kind of changed a little bit of how we present to those organizations, so they know that there's an appetite for stuff like that, and at the AANA and at our Congress. So we're happy to see all of it.
Well, while we're talking about the exhibit hall, thank you to the AANA for giving us this space, the Beyond the Mask space. We are in a glass room in the middle of the exhibit hall, so people could watch tapings, and we've had a lot of pictures made of us while we have been sitting here. It's definitely a fishbowl. People come and lick the glass and stick their tongue out.
Well, just a couple minutes ago, we're sitting in here, and these two young men come to the window and want to take pictures. They're like, "Can you put your..." Because it was just me and Sharon sitting in here, so we put them on and take a picture. Anyway, I go to the restroom, and he's in the restroom. I come out, I'm talking to him.
Did he take a selfie with you in the restroom?
He did not. I knew I should have not opened that up for that. But anyway, he was a new associate member.
Oh, how cool.
And said he listens to the podcast, and he had gotten the associate membership, and he's working in the ICU. He's applying back to anesthesia school in the fall. And so, and he was just asking questions. And I said, one of the things that you need to do, I said, this is a very open group. And if you see someone that says board member or anything, I said, let me tell you how to advance your career. Walk up to them, introduce them yourself, and tell your story like you just did to me. I said, because every one of these CRNAs will help you. And I said, it will be career changing. And he said, really? I said, absolutely. I said, and I guarantee you that they will give you their cell phone and say, if you need anything, please call me. That is this group.
Absolutely true.
Actually, I've been shocked by how many of the associate members have stopped me because they'll hear my voice and they'll go, "Sharon Pierce, I listen to you all the time." But it's been a tremendous amount of those associate members.
All right, Bill. So this is your time. What do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about opt-outs, payer discrimination? What's going on in your world?
Let's start with membership again, because in terms of just setting some new standards for the organization. I revealed this week that our membership is growing. It's growing strong. We always define our membership numbers at the end of each fiscal year. So at the end of August, we come up with the formal number, which is weird to me because normally we announce those numbers at Congress, but they're 11 months old when we do it. And so I got a little frustrated with the folks. And this time I said, look, I don't want to tell everybody the numbers that we've known since last September.
Right.
Where are we now? Where are we now? We have outstanding retention. Looks like we're going to end up with the best retention in history in terms of the people who were members last year staying members. So that's
Wonderful.
One that helps. But the overall number of members is going to be well north of 68,000. So the 65,000 that we've had on everything for the past 11 months is we're going to have a nice jump on that. But in that, and this connects to this conversation you just had, a year ago, we opened up the RNA PRN member group. We kind of had a sense that there would be an appetite for this. We had no idea how much. So we thought, all right, let's get crazy, and let's say we get 500. In a year. That was the goal. When we said this will be the juice is worth the squeeze if we get 500 of these people. We could learn a lot, and maybe we could grow with that. When we got on the plane or in the car, however we got here, when we left Chicago to head down here, we had about 1,620.
Wow.
And yesterday we crossed 1,700. So it's just such phenomenal how much appetite there is for people who want to become a CRNA to get involved with us and start their journey a little bit earlier, and that's something that we'd love to do, and that it's an area of the profession. Sharon, you know this, and Jeremy, I know you'll remember that this has been talked about a lot. Is what are we doing for the 0 to 5 years? And I think that's just a thing that always happens, and I think there's part of the conversation that is, okay, well, it's not the 0. That's not the start point. It's the -2, -3, -4.
Right. Exactly.
It's getting that relationship established so that we don't have to start from 0 when they just graduate from their program. And now we have to show what we are. We have a chance to actually have a relationship developed with these people as they're beginning their journey to become a CRNA. Once they decide that's where they want to go and commit themselves. So the RNA PRN member category is one way where we could begin to do that. Where we just started. We have a few things that we could put in to give them a little bit of value, and we're constantly looking at what new things we could throw at that group particularly. We launched this year for In the Middle, the Grade 1 View podcast, which was started in January. Now, 18 episodes in, about every other week we get something going, and, great hosts, putting out something twice a month. You'll know better than me, but I think that's about 15,000 downloads, which is way better than we expected. We're really happy to be working with you guys on that, and I think we have a good team there. We're also now piloting, starting this week, this new bridge program that is designed to help our RNAs in their third year. When you're beginning your third year is the beginning of this process of how do you finish school and then begin practice, whatever that looks like. And so we've created a 2-year program that has a pilot cohort that starts this year and will follow through that process and help them just navigate. There's a lot of change that you have to deal with when you're changing everything then. So we're really proud of, we finally have some things that we think answer some questions about what we're going to do. And it's kind of like the -2 to, +2. And so we got the 2 to 5 window that we still have to get to. We have to look at that next phase, but it's a group that we're still looking at. Of course, we're only just beginning to develop genuine things aimed only at these people. And I think it's time, it's overdue that we do this. And I'm glad that we have something to start. I'm happy with what we got, but there's going to be more coming.
Preschool for CRNAs.
Yes.
That's what this is. I love it.
Yes, it's great.
I think it's wonderful.
Are you a resident or CRNA looking to transition into independent practice? The AANA and Beyond the Mask are here to help you thrive as your own boss. Introducing the 1099 CRNA Institute, taught by Beyond the Mask host Jeremy Stanley and Sharon Pierce. This comprehensive educational series provides detailed guidance on business structure, legal and tax implications, and financial management, tailored specifically for 1099 CRNAs. Enroll now and earn valuable continuing education credits as you chart a new course in your rewarding career. Visit aana.com/1099 to learn more and take the first step toward your new future.
You were talking about innovation.
Yes.
And there's something that happened at this meeting that's never happened before, the hackathon.
Would you like to tell us about the hackathon, Sharon? Sharon is being humble now, but this was your idea. You brought this to me, I think, almost a year ago.
Well, maybe. Of course, to me, it was a blink of an eye.
Yes.
But the hackathon was extremely successful. We brought Rebecca Love in, who did the first nurse hackathon in the entire country. Mm-hmm. Came in to do a hackathon for nurse anesthetists. We wound up having 12 teams, tables of about 8 to 9. We had fantastic mentors that were handpicked because it's kind of hard to corral a bunch of CRNAs. It was a 3-hour event. And everybody said they thought it went by in just a few minutes. And the ideas that came out of that, we had 3 winning teams that were picked by judges. And the work in there was amazing. It was very fast work. I have been stopped multiple times by people saying, "Oh my God, that was so fun. I never thought that I would enjoy it as much as I did." So we're hoping that it will become an annual event and that it will feed into Roommate would be what I would.
That would be great.
What I would think.
What were the winning teams? What did they put forward?
Oh my gosh, they had different ideas. I don't want to let it go right yet because who knows? Some of them might be creating businesses together. A lot of it was the networking. People met other people that had similar ideations as they have, and they didn't know that the other person had that. For instance, one table, one of them was doing a DMP project, and another person used to be something else in a previous life where they went into anesthesia. And their ideas, they're thinking about actually creating a business of it. So I hesitate to let the cat out of the bag about these, but you'll be hearing about them very soon.
I can't wait for us to be able to share it. I think it'll be
that's pretty
be
cool.
Really good. Well, and actually also on the innovation, we had our second pitch competition.
I went.
That's right.
Yeah,
I went. It was good.
Great.
It was good.
I was unable to attend. I had an appointment that I had.
Yeah, why don't you tell them about your appointment?
Yeah, so I accepted a wager from our.
Did you think it wouldn't cut that?
There was a bit. I had a day where I thought, they might not be able to do this because the reason here. So here's the deal. Normally, we let different arms of the organization do events host different special events at different meetings. And so we end up bouncing between what's a foundation-oriented event and what's a PAC-oriented event. And occasionally we kind of think we're missing some opportunities when we do that. And it creates a claim on an event that may not be really there. So we're changing things up a bit. And this Congress is the first Congress we actually did something where we let the PAC have some emphasis. It was awesome to do, but everybody was kind of saying, there's no way we're going to get any. People think about the foundation, and they're already, the foundation does great. And actually, our foundation event was fantastic.
Amazing.
Oh, boy,
It sold out.
it.
Everybody loved it. And so the PAC event was really just let's attach something in front of the Party with a Purpose, which was sort of a special VIP experience kind of thing. And anyway, along those conversations, Jeff reached out and said, how much would it take for me to agree to get a CRNA related tattoo? And he started with something like $10,000. Like, there's no way, Jeff. Like, come on, this is not going to happen. I'm not going to do something like this. And in the end, where we settled was, I said, all right, I'll get a CRNA related tattoo. If you could raise $1,000 for every year the PAC has been in existence.
That's a good thing.
And so that was 42. So that works for me. I'm a Douglas Adams fan. 42 is the answer to everything. Life, the universe, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And how many years the PAC has been around. And how many thousands of dollars it would take for me to consider getting a tattoo. They raised that money in less than a day. Of course, you guys did that.
That is wild.
I'm sure you did. People were still giving today. On the way in today, I heard we're almost at 50. So it's awesome. It's just great to see this happen. So I was unable to be at the pitch competition because I had to keep my appointment with a local tattoo artist here in Nashville, who did a great job of giving me a CRNA strong tattoo on the back of my calf. And
it looks amazing. You literally just got back.
Yeah.
So,
Walked straight in from the tattoo artist.
Yes.
We can post that in the show notes. Your
That's right.
picture of
Sure,
your
that's right.
tattoo. All right. We're going to do
Aaron
it.
was with me. I think I got 140 pictures of it.
oh, wow.
Oh, God
So
bless
there's
her.
plenty. But anyway, it was fun. It's interesting. A lot of people have asked me. It caught some people off guard that I would do it. And I said, I think I could say that I'm very proud of the work that I've done at the AANA for the past couple of years. And so there's part of it. I've invested a lot of myself into what I do. I take the quality of what I do very seriously. So it's a part of me. We've created a culture where our staff can be very successful. And I really get a lot out of seeing our staff be successful. But what really makes it great it's what you said earlier. It's that CRNA community. I was talking to the people at the tattoo art parlor today about this. Are you out of your mind? What are you doing this for a job? And I said, look, here's the thing about these people. Once they know you're a friend, you're family. Once you earn the credibility, you're in, and they treat you like that, and you're welcomed, and you're part of it. They realize that whatever the struggle today is, we're all in it together, and we're all doing it to help each other. And that's not something that I've seen in anywhere else in my career in
So I'm
healthcare.
assuming the other places you worked, it never crossed your mind to get it tattooed on you.
Tattoo.
Well, I could tell you I would never have gotten a tattoo that celebrated those organizations.
It's funny. I mean, last night at the Party with a Purpose, I was in there and just looking around. And I took a little video and I sent it to a friend of mine, just everybody having a great time, everybody getting along. And it was and I said, these are my people.
Yes.
And now they are,
And now
since
they
you're
are.
an honorary
That's true.
member.
But I mean, they've always been. I mean, I've told you that for years. I knew after meeting a CRNA and then a few and then 100, and I was like, you know what? I like these people.
Right.
Like, they're
Wait,
fun.
I was either the first or pretty close to the first.
You were one of the first. Yeah, absolutely. 20-some years later.
Yeah. So not only did you get a tattoo to cement your role with us, you joined Friends for Life.
I did.
Yes.
Thank you for noticing.
I was
did
gonna
join
say
Friends
that
for
too,
Life. I did. I felt very strongly that I'm a you walk the walk kind of person. It matters to me. My role means that technically I'm a trustee of the foundation, a voting trustee. I get to be a part of 3 boards in this job. One I coach and guide, and I'm their main business advisor. One, I'm the president of our AAMS board, our for-profit subsidiary. That's a smaller, more focused concern. And for the foundation, I'm just a voting member of that board. And that's an organization that has to raise money. It has to have a strong mission. It has to have good leadership. And I love being a part of that board. I've given pretty aggressively, kind of quietly on the sides. And I kind of felt like, this year I was reaching some views that, I hope I'm around longer than, just this initial stint. I'd like to be a part of this thing that is bigger and better and more. It's more of a thing than just a job now. And so, I thought it was time for me to become a Friends for Life, and I'm on the payroll deduction plan. It's funny, when I told Nat, I said, hey, I'd like to do this. It's great. Here's this thing that you could go over there and do. And it was this whole automatic deduction system. It was really easy for anybody who wanted to do it. You could go through and you could just set that up and it would happen. So there's a plug. If you wanted to become a Friends for Life, you could make it pretty painless. Not a lot of money out of any particular paycheck. But because we're with the AANA, the foundation is integrated into our systems. I just went to HR and said, hey, can you just deduct from my paycheck and just send this right over to can we keep this all in-house and just make it happen? And so, we've been doing that for a little bit now. And, it's going to take a couple of years to sort of get to the 25,000 threshold for the paying it now. But it was something I had to do it.
Awesome.
It's a credibility thing. It's a cause I believe in. I think it's an organization I want to be successful, and I'm invested in it just like I ask everybody else to be.
If you'd like to hear Sharon speak live, now's your chance. She'll be presenting at the 53rd Annual Refresher Course for Nurse Anesthetists, hosted by the Frank Moya Continuing Education Programs. Join her this fall with other experts November 14th through the 16th at the Hilton Hotel in Walt Disney World Village, Florida. It's a weekend of learning, networking, and a little bit of magic. Check out the link in the show notes for more info and registration details.
You said something to me the other day. You said, I hope I can retire from this job.
I do.
Yeah. Then, you know what? Your follow through, the tattoo, the Friends for Life.
I think you're in.
I think you're in it to win it now, Bill. So
I mean that. As we all go through careers, things change. You never know what's around the corner. I found my way into membership associations 25 years ago, and it was a radical change versus what I had prior. And it changed the way I looked at what my career trajectory was going to be. Having been with a few, I pretty quickly realized I'm probably only ever going to work for healthcare associations. Like, this is going to be the thing where I feel like I could be with people that are my people, different flavors of my people over the years. So I came to the AANA thinking this is going to be this is a great organization. It has a tremendous amount of potential for me to do some good things here, and maybe it'll last for 5 or 10 years, and then I'll go on and do something else, and maybe I'll go take on a bigger challenge. And
there's not a bigger challenge than us. I hate to tell you.
We do have those days.
CRNAs and our issues.
Yes. The more time I get to spend doing this work, and the more time I get to spend with people, internal and external, I find it harder to see myself wanting to go somewhere else. I feel like each year we're beginning to build on last year's success. Things get better. Our staff culture is fantastic. Our board leadership culture is phenomenal right now. It really, really is. And actually, we're voting right now for a thing that it shocked me that there wasn't a lot of discussion about this. But trusting the board to be a good board means trusting the board to make decisions about somebody. When you have somebody that may not really be right for the role, let the board deal with that without having to make a whole show of it the way we would currently have to do it. So I'm hopeful, because it seems like this is not the controversy that we were potentially prepared for. I'm hopeful that this will actually go through, because it's a sign that the organization is trusting not just its current self, but its future self. And that's one of my mantras. Trust the future version of you to make the best choice they can make. And that's true for a board, that's true for a staff, that's true for yourself. I don't get up any day and say, what can I do to prevent myself from doing something dumb 3 years from now? And like, let's take something off the table.
Like get a tattoo.
Yeah, right.
You just walked into that with Bill.
I did.
You did.
Well, we'll talk in 3 years, and I'll let you know.
Yes,
I'll let you know if I'm having it removed.
I just wonder what you're going to do as a follow-up for next year's meeting.
No, he's going to put this on somebody else. It might be you,
we're gonna
Jeremy.
Might be.
I might aim at this one else.
We change that subject really quick.
Yeah. So, I can't speak for, what the organization feels. I do this job there's two conditions under which I do this job is one, as long as we're an organization that wants to become a better version of itself in some big or small way, and as long as the board of this organization wants me to be the one doing this job. Those are the only two things that matter. And as long as those are both true, I will be here, and I will be doing my best to do that.
All right. So what else is going on?
We dipped into opt-out for just a minute. We've got a new one.
I don't remember
I think it's
the
26.
list. And Guam.
In Guam. That's right.
And so it's, opt-outs are good. Our federal advocacy team has really been doing a tremendous amount of work. We got the language in the Senate Appropriations Bill last week that, basically notifies HHS that we are aware. I love that language. We are aware that this is becoming a problem. Instruct HHS to basically do the right thing, which is interesting. That kind of connects back to our mandamus and everything that we're doing around reimbursement work. Because of United Health Group this past month, making their announcements for their cuts, that has elevated this again on our radar. But people might, I'm sure everybody remembers, but they might not realize that as soon as Cigna started doing this, a year and a half ago, we have done a tremendous amount of work trying to find how can we influence this? How can we directly change the landscape and prevent more of this from happening? We did an exhaustive research project with 2 different law firms to see is there anything in any statute in the country that we can use as a lever against these payers who are trying not to pay and trying to do so unlawfully. And there are a couple sort of stretch scenarios that you could, and none of them that really look to lend themselves to something you could then take to another state or take to a federal level and have it be, there really just isn't. And all of this gets, you quickly source this back to the Affordable Care Act, where there's the provider non-discrimination language, and the provider non-discrimination language that we anchor everything on that requires HHS to go through a comment and rulemaking process. It has never done it in the history of that law. This is something that Congress has told HHS to deal with more than once, but I think most recently and obviously in the No Surprises Act in 2016. That's something that you have to go do. You have to go and complete your work in this. Because the Affordable Care Act on its own provides no private right of action, which basically means that you or I, if something is not in line with the Affordable Care Act, we don't have an individual right to hold the government accountable to do that. And so we get to our mandamus action, which is Marbury v. Madison, early, it's like we're back into the early 1800s, 1700s. Legal scholar is going to nerd out on this and really let us know where I just mangled that, but which is basically a mechanism for the government to tell itself to do what it's supposed to do and to finally complete it. And so we filed that, I think it was last October. We're coming up on a year, and we've had a couple of changes to the filing. Most recently, we're in the process right now. It may be done by the time I get back to Chicago. We're updating our filing to include validation of what we claimed initially. We claimed initially this, we're seeing this in a couple of payers. This is just the beginning. You'll see more payers do this if this is not stopped. And that's exactly what we have seen. And now, with more people doing this, we will be able to, just say, look, we were right. It's an obscure part of law. It's a thing that gives us an opportunity to do something where we can act directly. It's harder for the AANA to act directly against United Healthcare. It's hard to find it's hard to find individuals who are directly harmed themselves, even as members, on this, just because of how complicated everything is and how you're paid, and all of those costs actually end up getting shifted to other parties. We've worked hard to try to get this on the attention of the American Hospital Association, the Rural Health Association, and others. And unfortunately, the timing has meant that they have been distracted by other things that have happened in health policy in the past month at the same time, and that are, for them potentially much larger than just United Health Group. So this has been timed to fly under the radar just right for us. But we're having a lot of conversations about what we can do, how we can partner with folks in industry. There have been things going on that we can't really talk about that may develop into some things, some potentially hopeful, others, hey, throw it at the wall and see if it sticks kind of things. We're not sitting on our hands. We're doing everything. We're pulling every lever we actually can pull. So
yeah. You're advocating.
Keep pulling. So what else is going on? I know there's more.
Do we want to talk about the new podcast?
Let's talk about the new podcast.
You have new hosts. So our second joint production with Beyond the Mask. We're very happy to see this just getting started. So it has a name, Airway Exchange, and it is going to be a podcast that I think we're aiming at debuting it this fall for educators.
The first of its kind.
Awesome. And it's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
We've already got some wonderful hosts, and
oh yes,
so I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be great. I mean, educators obviously have different needs, and than the general CRNA population. Just like the residents had different needs. So I think we're really trying to make sure we're targeting each segment of the population with what we're doing. And I applaud AANA for doing that. ADCE, now it's called Edge. Yes.
I like that better.
Edge and investing in that and the resources back to educators, which obviously residents are the future, but they don't get there without the educators. So, I applaud AANA for doing that.
Well, and, we that conference had a little bit of controversy in the past year or so.
I wasn't going to go there. I'll let you handle that.
It did. And I felt strongly that it was important to thank Richie Flowers during my remarks just the other day for his work and the education committee's work on helping sort of find a way out of the weeds on that and create a real direction for it. And I think what they did was fantastic. The name, it's in all of our education products have Edge somehow related to them. We have Conference, the system, and the tool set for educators themselves. So we have three things now that carry the Edge name, and it's consistent. But more importantly, I think what I'm hoping to communicate to folks is that we're leaving it alone. we put a lot of effort into thinking about how this could be a successful conference. We looked at everything that the educators said, and we took it to heart. And so we built a new plan based on that, and that's the plan that's going to be in effect for the foreseeable future, as far as I'm concerned.
This is Jackie Rolls, President of the International Federation of Nurse Anesthetists. I'm inviting you to attend the 15th World Congress for Nurse Anesthetists, May 7th through 9th, 2026 in Brisbane, Australia. I promise you that you will love meeting nurse anesthetists from around the world, attending the multitude of Congress sessions, and exploring the many unique experiences that Brisbane has to offer. Hold a koala bear, feed kangaroos directly from your hand, climb Story Bridge, one of the only 3 climbing bridges in the world, or travel to snorkel the Great Barrier Reef. This is one Congress you do not want to miss. Cheers!
What's on the agenda? Anything next you looking at or thinking about that you can share?
The biggest thing, and this is something that is going to be really attached for our new board, which is going to be a different composition. We have a larger board now. We have 2 additional region directors and some new regions. We redid the map so that we've got a little bit.
Gerrymandering?
No,
I'm teasing. We've been looking at this.
Gerrymandered it, and we now have it. There's a better. Yes,
looking at this for years because you're looking at the Western. It was based on population. So some region directors had, I can't remember the exact number, but it was a lot of states and 3 time zones.
Yeah.
So we have 2 new directors, and we got through a great board orientation just this past July. But we're rolling into a strategic planning cycle actually a year early. we just did this under Drew's presidency. We did as good as we could at the time,
knowing that things were going to change.
Knowing that things are going to change, and frankly, I was still a little too new at the time. I was probably at the Mount Stupid range of Dunning-Kruger. I knew enough to be dangerous, and so I think we could have been more productive during that session. And I think there were some challenges in the way that got executed that meant that it was likely not going to have the endurance that it should. And I'm not saying that I could point to where it's flawed. I just think we have an opportunity to do better. Drew was a fantastic president. He did as good as anyone could have reasonably done with how that iteration was set up. We just now know better and are changing it. So we have new strategic consulting partners that are helping facilitate a much more detailed strategic planning cycle for us. We started it with the board orientation in July, where we had folks from this company, Scarlet Oak, who we're using with this. They're a new outfit that have people from, and I'm going to get this wrong, it's either McKinley or McKinsey. One is business, one is association. And I always mix the two up, but it's the association strategy firm that they're people who come out of that. They do great work. They've got a lot of experience, even though it's a new firm. They have a very data and objective-driven approach to strategic planning. So we started by having them just observe how we do our board orientation. They were able to see the way we bring our board into the organization and start to get them on board, get them aligned with our board culture. And then at this week's meeting, we began our first board meeting with a 90-minute session beginning to lay out some big picture questions for the current and future board, for the future board to really be thinking about and how to go through that. We'll follow that up with some additional survey work, some focus survey work this fall, even a couple of internal retreats of key areas of the business side. So we'll take our education team out, we'll take our advocacy team out, we'll take our membership team out, and we'll dive in on a few vertical things that we see so that we could bring from our end some powerful information to a strategic planning retreat that'll take place in January over a couple of days. And at the end of that, we won't have a strategic plan. We'll have a bunch of notes. Normally, this organization and a lot of organizations, you go in and you do that retreat, and the idea is you hammer out a document that at the end of it you're done, and if you give yourself the goal of hammering out a document, that becomes the end, and not the mean. So we're instead just going to say, keep it blue sky, a little bit below that. Think about how and why primarily, and then over the next few months, that board will wrap up the editing and creation of a strategic plan that hopefully it can approve before the end of its term. So we're looking at a year from now before the plan is actually done and vetted and had a lot of opportunity to be poked at and prodded and examined from different angles. So so we don't find ourselves thinking, gosh, what were we thinking? I don't know. That was one day.
Right.
So this will be a much more thorough process. Will be the most important. I think it right now looks to be hopefully the most important thing that the next board does. But I don't know what reality is going to throw at us next week. That could change in a heartbeat.
We never know.
Seems like that's the way it always happens.
Yeah,
it is.
Definitely.
It is.
So we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good year.
Well, it sounds like the direction of the organization is trending upwards. Membership seems happier all the way around, and I think that's attributable one to you, Bill. And we had this conversation. I know that a lot of people were a little worried about having an outsider who is a non-CRNA.
Why are you looking at me?
I didn't look at you.
I always say I voted against it. I did not want a non-CRNA.
Another time that Sharon doesn't listen to Jeremy.
Listen.
Yes.
But, I've eaten crow, and it's been the best thing for this organization.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm humbled to hear that. Thank you.
I think, Bill, with your leadership and then what the board has been able to do and the leadership of the board, I think that the people that have been around it for a long time are seeing it. I think more important than that,
That's why you had a short business meeting.
Well, I think it's even more
Shortest
important.
ever.
Yeah, I knew there were. It come down to two: either Nancy Marie's year or this year's shortest business meeting ever.
And that's wonderful. But these are the people that are always engaged. I think what you're seeing now is you're seeing CRNAs and other folks who are buying in because they're feeling these changes and they're feeling more part of the organization. I mean, look at this meeting. Look at membership, and I think that's the ultimate key. I mean, Sharon, you're always going to be at the meeting whether you like it or not, right?
I want to break the record. I'm getting close. Sandra Kildee made it to 40 annual congresses, and I think I'm at 34.
All right, so only 6 more years we can kill her off.
Hey, guess what? won't that be around the Diamond Jubilee? It'll be at the 100th anniversary.
2031.
Yeah.
Oh my
is our
God!
100.
I should get a
You'll
tiara.
be 100 in 2031.
Can we work a tattoo into this?
Oh, I love this.
Hey, listen, they wanted to do a thing and throw me out of an airplane and skydive in North Carolina if I would skydive for a pack, but I was a little scared.
Well, I could share. We're in the very early stages of thinking about what 2031 is going to look like.
Yeah.
It's where we're getting people together, having some conversations, and saying, what if? So it's going to be.
I'd be happy
cook something
to help.
else.
I'll volunteer if you need anybody who's been to 30-some meetings, 34.
Bill, thanks as always. Great to have you on. It's good to catch up, and we can't wait till next year when we do this again, and we have lots of more.
When we can catch them in the middle too.
Yeah.
We do try to do this more than once a year.
Well. Yeah, but I mean, at least once a year we'll do this, and so. But thanks for everything you're doing for the CRNA community. It is felt. People are noticing it, and I can tell just in your demeanor and the things you're doing and saying that you are all in with the CRNA community, and now you got the tattoo to show it.
Skin in the game.
Literally.
I love it. I love it.
All right, Sharon, I think it's a wrap.
Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Mask. If you enjoy the show and want to help us grow, the best way to support us is simple. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, share the show on social media, and tell your friends. Your word of mouth is what keeps us going strong. We're proud to consistently rank in the top 50 medical podcasts nationwide and to be #1 in the CRNA community. All thanks to listeners like you. Your support helps us stay there, and we couldn't do it without you. We'll see you on the next Beyond the Mask.